Just working with our company, you're going to get to work with a lot of bright individuals.
Everyone is open and ready to help you, and definitely big on advocating for making sure that you succeed and reach your potential.
Everyone's goal is the same, to make the best products that we can for our clients and make sure that it is everything and more that it could be.
What's kept me here? Our culture. We're genuinely a very great group of people. Everyone's just always willing to lend a hand.
When I have a suggestion or a concern and I voice it, leadership actually hears me.
As a consultancy, every person has a role and has something to bring to the table. There's just a lot of opportunities here if you're up for the challenge.
Jump on board, be part of the fun ride, because we're going places.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there is just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit of themselves into everything that they do over here, especially since it is a made from scratch concept. We want everybody to come, visit us, enjoy some great food with some great service. Bring your friends, bring your family, come have some great food, have a great time with us with some of the best comfort scratch food.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Bertner Electric Incorporated provides professional commercial electrical contractor services to Indianapolis and surrounding communities. Locally owned and operated for over 30 years, our knowledge and experience make us the perfect choice for all your commercial electrical contractor needs. Contact us today.
Thanks to you. Standing with us. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our neighbors in need.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action, or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
Sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
Hey Indiana, let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Hello and welcome onto the campus of Rose-Hulman. It is time for conference soccer, a trip to the NCAA tournament on the line, and that journey continues today. It's Rose-Hulman taking on Transylvania at Lexington, Kentucky. I'm Charlie Harris, alongside me, Sam Cinder. And Sam, we have an exciting matchup here tonight. Rose-Hulman coming in on the season 8-7-1. Transylvania about the same, 8-5-3. Sam, these are two teams that are very evenly contested. They saw each other earlier in the season. It was a 1-1 draw. These two teams fighting for a spot in the HCAC championship game.
Charlie, you're right. We're going to have a battle today between these two defensive teams. We'll get into all of that. Two teams that love to play on their side, make sure that they stay tight in that defensive line. But with Transylvania in particular, you'll notice when they win, they score. They've scored 2 goals in every time they've won a match this year, and that's going to be very difficult to do against Rose-Hulman. We'll see if they handle today. Again, they drew against them in the first game, only got 1, but they only gave up 1, so two teams that play very, very solid soccer.
I like what you said. When they win, they score. Yes, that's right. 2 goals in every win for the Pioneers this season. And Rose-Hulman, a very defensive-oriented team. They don't give up a lot of goals. They only give up 1.25 goals per game, just 20, over a goal.
Just 20 goals. And, you know, a couple weeks ago I was looking at this, and they'd scored 20, they'd given up 20. So the same number of goals allowed and goals scored, which is so weird because at that time they hadn't even lost a conference game. And their margin of victory is so thin. They play at such a small margin of error. We're going to score 1, and we're not going to let you score. They play so many 1-0 games. And so for that, in that reason, with a team that's offensively capable like Transylvania, they have to make sure they score first, and you might want to get a second one. One may not be good enough in a game like this.
Yeah, in games where Rose-Hulman scores first, they're 7-0. When the other team scores first, they're 1-7. That could be the story of this game today. And really, Sam, these two teams both had a pretty terrifying start to the season. Rose-Hulman started out 0-5 this season. It's really been a tale of 2 months. September, the Fighting Engineers were 2-6. In October, they've been 6-1-1. As for Transylvania, in the month of September, they were 2-4-1. October, they're 5-1-2. So these two teams have been dominant in the month of October, and they square off here in just a moment. It's going to be a fun one today. Kira Hicks, the lead goal scorer for the Fighting Engineers. She's got 8 on the season, and she's coming off an HCAC Offensive Player of the Week. She's going to be huge for the Engineers tonight, Sam.
She sure is. You mentioned the 8 goals. And what she's able to do is use her size to her advantage. You'll notice her presence, just so physical, able to really get up there on corners. You got to look out for her as well as a couple other offensive threats, particularly Marquardt for Rose-Hulman.
And we're going to take a quick break. We'll send it to commercial, and after the anthem, we will be back. It's Rose-Hulman and Transylvania after this on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity. And that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your students to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
575 of them from 40 states and 19 countries, with a record-breaking number of applications. Did you forget about Rose's outstanding class of 2023 and how 99% of the graduates have landed a position in their dream fields, graduate school, or the military?
The renovations to Munch Hall are finally complete, so I'm sure he'll have plenty to eat at the updated Munch Cafe by the new Living Mall.
We just broke ground on a new residence hall that will be ready for fall 2025.
We celebrated a record-breaking homecoming with more than 2,000 alumni, students, and friends commemorating the 100th anniversary of the bonfire with our first ever drone show. We also welcomed 267 employers for our fall career fair. And perhaps the greatest gift of all, the Wall Street Journal named us to one of the top 20 best colleges in America, and U.S. News & World Report named us the #1 undergraduate engineering college. You can be a little old for a lot of things, but you're never too old or too far away for Rose-Hulman. 2023 was a year of adventurous journeys, of coming together, of growth. No matter how far away you roam this holiday season, you will never be truly alone as long as Rose is your home.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Before we get to kickoff, let's read through some of tonight's sponsors. Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer since 1955. Passion to care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. Wheeler Mission. For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Burtner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. Morales Group, we're in business to create a better future for you and your family. The Drumstick Dash, run fast so we can eat. Move your feet so others can eat. That's how it's said properly. And then, of course, Indiana SRN sports page. Follow the sports page every day with updated news from coast to coast. Log on at indianasrn.org and click on our tab. So, Sam, with that being said, let's talk about some of the starting lineups today. For Rose-Hulman, goalkeeper Lily Doré, Lauren Marquardt, Camille Clark, the defenseman, Riley Heasley, another midfielder.
Can I just point out someone that I think is going to be a key player?
Yeah.
And that's Lauren Marquardt. And what she's going to have to do is move her feet so others can eat, all right? she's the key person that assists. She sets up her teammates. That's why I say others are going to eat because of her. 5 assists on the season. What she does, she runs the sideline so well and is able to cross it into the middle, setting up Kira Hicks, setting up other forwards, other contributors, so she's a real key in this match.
Yeah, Lauren Marquardt, like you mentioned, the midfielder, she's played in every game this season, all 16. She leads the team in assists with 4, and she's going to be a difference maker in the midfield, not only defensively helping out with the defense, keeping that back line established, but offensively distributing the ball into the playmakers like Akira Hicks. So look for her. I'm sure we'll say her name plenty of times. And then for Transylvania, a difference maker tonight is going to be the forward, Maddie Benjamin. She leads this team in goals, and she's all over the field. In order for Transylvania to win, she's going to need to be involved in this offense.
8 goals, has only gotten better as she's gotten older, a senior now. And last year it was 7 goals. You know, it's so funny with Transylvania. They've returned their top 5 goal scorers: Isabella White, Maddie Benjamin, Lila Steen, Kiana Raya, and Abby Rowe. And not all of them have maintained the same offensive potential, ability. They scored 60 goals last year, Charlie. Wow. They only have 34 this year. So they've really dropped off, although the top 5 goal scorers are still very capable. They all pose a threat. That's why in each of their wins they've scored 2+. They have playmakers. It's just, will they make the plays against such a tough defense in Rose-Hulman?
Yeah, Rose-Hulman's defense has been so stout all year. They give up just over a goal per game, 1.25. So when you play Rose-Hulman, you're lucky to score 1 goal, but not often more than that. Let's see if Transylvania can come on the road in the semifinal matchup as a lower seed and move on to the championship. And it's going to be an interesting one. So as we look through the bracket for the Heartland Conference, Hanover took on Anderson. Winning that one was Hanover. They play Mount St. Joseph, the 1 seed, today at 7 p.m. That game currently going on, as does this one. Rose-Hulman had the bye. They're the 2 seed. Transylvania had to get through 6-seeded Franklin in order to get here. They won that game 2-1. And now they find themselves here in Terre Haute looking for a championship bid in the HCAC.
And with Transylvania, that playoff game in the quarterfinal, 2-1 over Franklin, it was, guess who? It was Maddie Benjamin. They go, when you were in critical situations, quarterfinal, semifinal, playoff games, the stars will come out. That's what happens for good teams. Maddie Benjamin came out. She scored in the 36th minute. They outshot Franklin 14-3, so they dominated.
Yep.
They were the better team. They proved it. Today it's very evenly matched. These 2 teams are essentially even in terms of their record. Just 1 more draw for Transylvania compared to Rose-Hulman. But I want to point something out. Yesterday it was the Rose-Hulman men that fell victim to Anderson, a gritty team, a scrappy team. Rose-Hulman was heavily favored. Don't think that the Rose-Hulman women didn't see that and are a little inspired, have a little bit of an edge, they don't want to go out the same way.
Yeah, Rose-Hulman, they had the bye. They didn't have to play. Transylvania with some fresh legs. Maybe, I don't want to say they have more hunger, but they played another game to get to this point. So they've had a little more experience as of late. Rose-Hulman coming off a 6-0 victory against Manchester, where Kira Hicks scored 2 goals in that game. It earned her the Heartland Conference Player of the Week after those 2 goals, the first of her career. So she is riding high, and this team is riding high off of that 6-0 shutout. And we are underway here in Terre Haute. The semifinal matchup has started. Keeping possession early. It's Transylvania at the midfield. They're going to battle for it initially, and it's on that defensive line on the far side. You look at the last game against Franklin College, Transylvania, they had 10 corner kicks opposed to Franklin's 1, so they played very physical in that game.
And you mentioned the physicality, and I want to go back to the match, the draw between Rose-Hulman and Transylvania earlier in October. That was physical. A yellow card and a red card came out. That sent off. Who was it that was sent off in that game? It was, excuse me for just a minute, it was Abby Manning. Abby Manning was sent off in the 39th minute. Emma Johns got the yellow. So these two teams, they already have a history of physicality. Expect in a playoff game that to just intensify.
Yeah, and these two teams, like we mentioned in the pregame, they faced off on October 5th. It was a Saturday. They drew 1-1. Kira Hicks scored the lone goal for Rose-Hulman, and we have a shot on goal. It's just off to the right. Could have been a silencer in just the first 2 minutes. It was just wide right. A great offensive attempt from Transylvania very early on.
And the early theme, just not even 2 minutes in, is pressure from Transylvania in the attacking third. And why is that important? You force a turnover like they just did. You create a golden opportunity. That time didn't come through.
And this one cleared up into the attacking third for Rose-Hulman. It'll be sent out of play. But how about that? You saw Transylvania's offense kind of finding a loose ball up near the 18-yard line. Just outside the box. Kind of a little flip shot just wide right. Let's see if they can get another look. This one knocked down by the defensive back. And it'll be dribbled around the back line for the Pioneers. It's Jamie Cottenham sending it up near the midfield. And some aggressiveness at that midline for Rose-Hulman. It'll be a free kick opportunity.
And it's always important to watch how the precedent that's set by the foul calls. If we're calling that early, we have to be consistent. And I'm sure they will, but it sets the tone for the progression as to come. If that's going to be a foul, then what will be later on?
Camille Clark sends this near the box. It's deflected out and into the possession of the Pioneers. Dribbled up near this near side and sent up again near the midfield. It's a back and forth affair thus far. Both offenses trying to find some traction. The soccer ball on the far side. Transylvania's offense trying to get going. And Rose-Hulman, after starting the year 0-5, they have clawed their way back. They have lost just one conference game this year, as has Transylvania. Both of these teams, just one true loss in conference play.
And both to a common opponent, that being the number 1 seed, Mount St. Joseph. And if you look at common opponent loss, it's 1-0 for Rose-Hulman. It was 3-0 for Transylvania. And you can look at that in a number of ways. You can look at it like how the College Football Committee will often look at Indiana against Nebraska, same as Ohio State against Nebraska.
Right.
The 56-7 compared to the 21-17. But the point is, Rose-Hulman played Mount St. Joseph tougher. Does that really matter at this point? No, they each lost.
Yep.
They each have to make the adjustment.
If you look at the HCAC standings, Mount St. Joseph, they're at the top at 8-0. Rose-Hulman second at 7-1 in conference play, and Transylvania third at 6-1-2. And both these teams off a one-game win streak. This one sent down the far sideline. The defense getting some action for Transylvania. There's some space in the middle area, sent back to the back line.
You know, I want to point out, because you mentioned the rough start both these teams had in the out-of-conference play, they do that intentionally. these teams are going to set up very competitive, very difficult matches for themselves in out-of-conference play that they know they're probably going to lose. And they do that because they don't care about the out-of-conference record. They're going to prepare themselves for in-conference. They both did it very effectively and dominated in conference play.
All that matters for conference tournament time is the top 6 teams with the best conference record make the final bracket. And the last spot was Franklin. Earlham, Bluffton, Berea, and Manchester all missing the conference tournament. And here's a bit of a free ball into the hands of Lily DeRay. She gloves it and is going to survey the field. She's going to send this on the air off the feet, knocked down at the midfield. Transylvania's midfield starting to move to the attacking third.
And you know, Charlie, the other important takeaway from these first 5 minutes is that Transylvania's controlled possession early.
And that's a missed opportunity trying to find the cutting Caitlin Fike. And it's just too strong on the pass. Lily DeRay has it once again. She's going to send a punt on this near sideline. It's a box out. Lauren Marquardt trying to keep possession. She's double teamed and sends it back to her defense. Moving it around the back line, trying to find some open space. It's now on the far side. Taylor Beatty with it. She sends it further up the field. It's out of bounds. The Pioneers back with possession.
And I think it's interesting to monitor how aggressive Transylvania is going to be, because without question, they're the more offensively gifted team. But without question, Rose-Hulman's the more defensively gifted team. So does that make Transylvania say, hey, well, we need to make sure we don't give anything up because it's going to be tough to score? Or do they say, we're going to trust what we do, and that is score?
It's two teams with different styles of play because Rose-Hulman, they put so much emphasis on the defense. Head coach Amy Hellewell for Rose-Hulman has had so much success as a defense in her 16 years as head coach. She's led Division III in a lot of stats over the years in defense and allowing goals per game and saves. And as that one sent too fast, it's kind of been a battle of possession. Both teams still getting settled in, trying to find their passes, find their rhythm. There's been a lot of dispossessions, a lot of turnovers early on these first 7 minutes. It's a throw-in, and boxing out is Abby Dean. Rose-Hulman dispossesses Transylvania, and it's Katie Choi with it. A through ball into the box, and an easy glove for Carrie Stevens. Carrie Stevens, the goalkeeper for the Pioneers, has played the most minutes of anyone on Transylvania this year.
She's been unbelievable. Second best in the Heartland Conference. Just 17 goals allowed and an .832 save percentage. That is tremendous.
Yeah, she is fantastic for Transylvania this year. A big reason why they've had such an impressive month of October, where they've just lost one game. They've won 6. It's been a really both of these teams really have turned their season around. I mean,
just one loss in the past 10 for each of them, both coming, as we mentioned, to Mount St. Joseph.
Transylvania started the year 1-5, Rose-Hulman 0-5. We saw a 6-game win streak at one point for Rose-Hulman to get them to this point as the 2 seed. As here's a soccer ball into the box, the defense kind of scrambling and trying to get a foot on it is Transylvania. They're bringing the midfielders closer. Once again, sending this to the box. That kick was Caitlin Fike, and it's deflected away by Rose-Hulman. Coming the other way now, right to left, are the Fighting Engineers. A nice pass up to Taylor Beatty. She's on the far side. She sends it up even closer into the box, and having a beat on it is Caitlin Fike, sending that out of harm's way. A good defensive stand from the Pioneers. This one's still being...
You know, Charlie, I think it's going to be really interesting to watch when Rose-Hulman is going to be aggressive. And they were aggressive there in transition. And with not many numbers. They only had 3, but they tried to make something happen. Nearly did. And for them, you know, we talk how defensive they are, but you have to score to win. They're going to have to score at some point today. And for them, it's choosing specific spots and moments. And players with... Usually they're going to go along the sideline, try to lob one over, essentially. When they do that is key.
I think it's going to come down to, can you capitalize on your corner kicks, and can you capitalize on transition opportunities? When it's a one-on-one or you have a 2-on-1 situation running to the net, can you capitalize on those smaller plays? Because it's going to be hard. When there is a set defense on both sides, they're going to be giving it all they have. As this is in the defensive area for Transylvania. Rose-Hulman's offense has done a decent job early on keeping it on the offensive half.
But I like this. I like this pressure from Rose-Hulman.
Abby Dean with it. He's working it around the perimeter, around the pressure of the Engineers. Katie Choi comes to pressure for Rose-Hulman. The left foot sends it up near the midfield line. And making a run on it, it's Allie Smith for Rose-Hulman. She kicks it out of play. Allie Smith, a nice defensive play for Rose-Hulman, not allowing a fast break for Transy.
She's been an unsung hero for them this season on that back line. Has started 15 of the 16 games.
Once again, Allie Smith sending it out of play again. It'll be a throw-in in the attacking third for Transylvania. So one of the first times we've seen a real offensive opportunity on this throw-in. Let's see what they do. Throwing that in, it was Caitlin Fike. Sends it near inside the box. Camille Clark tries to kick it out, and it's finally headed out by Allie Smith. It'll be another throw-in. Transylvania on the season, they've scored 18 of their goals in the first period, 16 in the second. Pretty even split. The ball's getting close to the box. A lot of defenders in the area. This one sent to Abby Dean. And once again kicked out of bounds, that time by Lauren Marquardt. The third throw-in in a row on this near sideline. Throwing this in is Caitlin Fike. She gets it down and around the box. Isabella White making a play on it. Now outside to McKenna Johnson. And McKenna Johnson is dispossessed. Knocked down again by Fike. She tries to get around a defender, and the Rose-Hulman defense, Sam, is there.
And they are always there. That's what they pride themselves in. And a lot of the defense stems from the forwards keeping the ball around midfield, but when the defense, the back line, is tested, they have lived up to the test nearly all season long.
Abby Dean sends it out to Caitlin Fike. Caitlin Fike back to Dean. Dean's going to send it up to Eva Blanky. Blanky with some pressure, she's dispossessed. Rose-Hulman has possession. 32 minutes to go in the first half, still 0-0. It's been a lot of turnovers early on. Still trying to wait for the offenses to get settled in and get comfortable. But Transylvania's offense kind of on the move right now.
And they've kind of been stuck on this near sideline for a good few minutes now.
That stoutness we talked about from Rose-Hulman. They give up just a goal per game. Down the far, or the near sideline rather, it's Eva Blanky, and that is out of play. It's going to be a goal kick for Lily DeRay of Rose-Hulman. And taking this goal kick, looks like it's the defender, Camille Clark. She started in every game this year for the Engineers, and she boots it with the right foot near the near side. And in possession is nobody. It goes out of play. It's a throw-in for Transylvania. Throwing it in will be Caitlin Fike.
And, you know, the early theme from Transylvania that I think will change as the game goes on, and the score will dictate this for sure, is they are satisfied having a slower pace. They're fine with the ball going out of play. They'll change who throws it in to waste some time. It's not really wasting time, but it's being patient. And I think they're perfectly fine letting this simmer. Remember, although it's very closely contested on paper, Rose-Hulman is the favorite. And for the underdog, if you're keeping the game tied, whether it's 0-0, 1-1, if you're doing that as long as possible, you have done your job.
Yeah, I think we're seeing Rose-Hulman trying to dictate the tempo early on. As we see a bit of a fast break, it's Lauren Marquardt, the midfielder, and tripped up. A nice steal there, if that's what you call it. Eva Blanky dispossesses Marquardt. And let's see if Transylvania can build a possession. It's the ball now on the back line after the dispossess of Rose-Hulman. Isabella White weaving through the middle. She advances it up up north to Maddie Benjamin. Maddie Benjamin, a name it's been called an awful lot for Transylvania. Finally sent into the box. It's a bit of a fight for it.
There's some physicality.
And here's Maddie Benjamin. She kind of used the right foot. She hits a spitter on the ground, and it's picked up by Lily DeRay. The first shot on goal, actually second rather, for Transylvania.
And that's a tougher one than it looks for Dory. You know, it's spinning, as you mentioned, and that spin can be tricky. You can't see it all the way. A couple defenders blocking her, but is able to gather fairly cleanly.
It's actually a really good shot by Maddie Benjamin. Through two defenders, went under some feet. Nice athletic ability by Lily DeRay to find that on the ground through the defenders. So now here's Rose-Hulman's offense trying to get going. This one sent up the far sideline into Maddie Benjamin's possession.
And I think on Rose-Hulman's side, they're perfectly satisfied as well playing this defensive style. They've barely possessed the ball. They've had very little opportunities. Ideally, they want more than 0 shots at this point, but I think they're okay. They're letting this simmer. They're okay playing this style and knowing it'll be a grind.
And in the last 5 games these two teams have played, each game has been, actually let me re-say this. Neither team has scored more than 1 goal in the last 5 meetings between two teams. So every game these two teams have played, the last 5 appearances, it's been 1 goal for each side. A lot of 1-0, a lot of 1-1.
And keep in mind, neither one of these two teams are too freshman dominant. So it's been the same group of players for the most part squaring off over those 5 matches the last 4 or 5 years. So this is nothing new. They're used to each other.
Yeah, very familiar with each other. And I just think that draw earlier in October, about a month ago today, that 1-1 draw might be the theme of this game if the defense is the main story.
But the difference is they can't draw.
Yeah, can't draw this one. Transylvania's offense trying to get back possession. And it goes to Carrie Stevens, the keeper for the Pioneers. Transylvania 7-5-3. Rose-Hulman 8-7-1. The ball sent up the near side. It goes out of play. Eva Blanke last touched it for Transylvania. Rose-Hulman's offense with a chance. This one on the near side. And it's sent out of play. Nicely done by Jamie Cottenham. A quick throw in, and here's Kira Hicks. She's dispossessed. The left foot, though, from Kiana Martin, it's wide left. It'll be a goal kick for the Pioneers.
You know, you could be anxious at times to get a shot off when you have none through the first 15 minutes of play, but that's not a quality look. It's not a quality shot. It's a tough look and not very well struck by Martin.
You know, we mentioned in the pregame how Kira Hicks for Rose-Hulman has been that top goal scorer. She leads the team in shots with 45. She leads the team in goals with 8. If Transylvania wants to move on to the championship of the HCAC with an NCAA tournament bid on the line, it's going to start with taking Kira Hicks out of this game. Do not let her get involved. Keep her out of the corner kick situation. She has a 6-3 advantage.
And Charlie, that's a really good point because so Hicks has scored 8 goals.
Right.
Over the season, Rose-Hulman has scored 26. So she nearly has a third of all of their goals. There's not much going on outside of Hicks.
Yeah, Kira Hicks, top priority for Transylvania. You know they've been watching her on film. You know what she can do with the ball. I think that starts with taking her out. And we've already seen her being boxed out. You see her trying to get this throw in. Kiana Martin is dispossessed. Back near the midfield line on the near side. The defense for Rose-Hulman back to work. Scraping it with the left foot was Allie Smith. Camille Clark with the soccer ball. Moving to her right, she sends it back to Vianney Garcia. Garcia with plenty of space. Sending it to the far side. It's headed down and into the possession of Katie Choi. Back on the far side, looking to send it in the box. She does. It's a little too far of a kick. And almost bobbling it as Carrie Stevens. She comes up with it.
That could have been bad. Those ones, I mean, Carrie Stevens, she bobbled. She's able to regather, but that bobble is what can seal you.
Yep.
And in this type of game, we said one goal could be all that does it.
Yep.
These two teams, when they just score one goal, Rose-Hulman, one goal undefeated.
Yep.
They've not lost when they score one goal. And that right there, you bobble that, Rose-Hulman is attacking. They're right there applying pressure. It could happen just like that, as quick as that.
Yeah, I think if you're Transylvania, well, obviously you have to be worried about Kira Hicks and Sydney Schuler, the freshman with 6 goals. Kind of a newcomer offensively, but in order to win this game, if you're Transylvania, you have to be as aggressive as possible. You're on the road. It's a cold November night. You're not going to win this game being complacent and doing the average. You have to do everything you can. As we see him in the attacking third now, Kira Hicks boxing out Abby Manning.
And, you know, I think part of the equation for Transylvania and for Rose-Hulman is don't make the error. Don't make the unforced error,
right,
where you're giving the other team a chance, and that you can control that. That's something you control personally. There's some things in soccer you're not going to be able to control. That's not going to bounce your way. But if you're able to control what's in your control, you're going to have a good shot.
Well, you look at the fouls total throughout the season. Rose-Hulman has committed 94 fouls. Transylvania 103. You don't want any of those to be inside the box today, because that would result in a penalty shot, and that would be catastrophic. So staying disciplined, obviously, a big part of tonight's game.
But you know, I don't think that should scare them from not being physical.
Right. Here's Katie Choi. She sends a through ball. It's Lauren Marquardt, the midfielder. She's been so good this year. And a nice defensive stand. She's going to try to box out, still on the near side. Searching, trying to find space. She sends it back to Allie Smith. Allie Smith back to Marquardt. She's got to send it in the box. She does with the left foot, and it's wide left. Not sure if it was deflected. It wasn't. It'll be a goal kick for Transylvania. Nice defensive hold from the Pioneers. And they've looked fresh so far. They've looked really good early on. Couple of shots on goal, and pretty impressive defense early.
We've seen a total of 3 shots. You know, 2 for Transylvania, 1 for Rose-Hulman. And that just speaks to the defense.
Yep, speaks
and
volumes.
None of the shots have really been very quality. None of them have been good looks. Only one was on goal. It was the spinner that Dory corralled.
Here's Rose-Hulman's offense. Bit of an opportunity here. They'll send it to the midfield line. Camille Clark with it. Sends it to Allie Smith on the near side. And is dispossessed. Nicely done by the Pioneers. Knocked down by Benjamin into Vianney Garcia. Garcia splits 2 defenders. Finds Kiana Martin. Kiana Martin sends it out to the far side. And that's Jaden Gibson with it. The Carmel, Indiana native. And that's out of play. Still Rose-Hulman. It's a throw-in. It's to Kiana Martin. She's got the right foot loose. She sends it closer to the net, and it's knocked away by the Pioneers. And that ball out of play, another goal kick for Transy. It's a good opportunity to remind you of Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer since 1955, a proud sponsor of IndianaSRN. Reynolds Farm Equipment. Passion to care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. So here's a couple of headers up top. A fight for the possession. Trying to get this to the attacking third of Transylvania. It's Maddie Benjamin, and she watches it roll out of play. We talk about the explosive month of October for both teams, where Rose-Hulman was 6-1-1, 5-1-1 for Transylvania, but Rose-Hulman outscored opponents 22-3 in the month of October. 22-3 is really an astounding number. They have been just purely dominant in this month. And it gets more impressive. Transylvania in the month of October, they've outscored opponents 25-7.
And I think, you know, that's obviously very impressive, but somewhat misleading, because 13 of those came against Manchester. 13-0.
Yeah.
Manchester, I mean, they've just had a disastrous season.
Manchester
winless
at the bottom of the HCAC standings. Yeah, they've had a rough season. I know Rose-Hulman actually in football defeated Manchester 70-7 on Saturday.
So it's been rough for Manchester in every sport, it appears.
I got an uncle that lives up there. He's not happy with the play. So here we go. Rose-Hulman moving right to left. 20 minutes to go here in the first half. Kiana Martin sends it to the midfield. Really impressive defense from Transylvania. Really stout at that midfield line, and they're going to dispossess Rose-Hulman once again. Really impressive.
And, you know, Rose-Hulman's the team that's known for the defense, but Transylvania, pretty sneakily, they've allowed less goals over the course of the season, just 17. They are sharp defensively. They know what they're doing.
Amy Hellowell, head coach for Rose-Hulman in her 16th season. We'll get to her in a moment. Here's an offensive opportunity. This is Lauren Marquardt. She's going to keep it herself, and it's knocked loose by McKenna Johnson. Came flying out of nowhere. I think if you're Lauren Marquardt there, you're going to make a decision a little bit sooner. She was cutting more towards the middle into some defenders.
I think it was more of a miscommunication. Thought Jaden Gibson on that far sideline was going to keep going, did not. And instead, it's Transylvania throw-in.
This one deflected on the far side. Kira Hicks is in the mix. She taps her right foot closer to the net. It's out of play. That's an easy goal kick for the Pioneers. But yeah, we talk about taking pride on defense. Hellowell's teams have a tradition of ranking among the top defensive squads in the nation. In 2013, Hellowell and Rose-Hulman, they finished third nationally with a .924 save percentage. And in 2014, the team was fifth nationally at .900 save percentage. 2017, Rose-Hulman recorded 7 shutouts, allowed just 18 goals. Yeah, this is a team that makes a living off of defense. It's a point of emphasis for Amy Hellowell. It's what she looks at when recruiting, and it's a part of this team's identity. Here's a throw-in on the near side. It's a fight for it. A big old joust. And tapped loose. It's Eva Blanky. Back down to Abby Dean. Abby Dean up to Blanky. Blanky with some pressure, moving to her left. Gives it back to Dean. Dean, the strong right foot, sends it up the line. Too strong. Lily DeRay, trying to pick it up. She does.
And one more note on that defense, because oftentimes it's so goalkeeper associated. You know, the save percentage, the clean sheets, the goals allowed, but it's a whole unit. And if there's not getting shots off, you know, only one for Transylvania, then there's nothing for the goalkeeper to save.
Yeah.
And that's how they get clean sheets. It's how they get shutouts. So it's a whole unit defensively, not just the goalkeeper.
Transylvania is attacking third, getting to work, and we have someone falling to the ground. That was Isabel White, who took a spill. No rain today, Sam. I know you were here yesterday for the men's game, Anderson and Rose-Hulman.
Stark contrast in the weather.
Yeah. I heard.
You know, I'm looking up. We got a beautiful, what is that, a crescent moon today?
Crescent, is it waxing or waning?
I've got no idea. I didn't know there was a difference, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit
but,
of
you know, yesterday, our producer thinks it's waxing. I don't know. But I was going to say, yesterday with the rain, you said it really didn't matter, not just in terms of the comfort level. I think the rain plays a huge impact in the underdog in Anderson yesterday. It creates chaos. It allowed them to do what they did. Mm-hmm. Today, I mentioned a number of times, it's a little more balanced on paper, so that doesn't have the same effect. But the more chaos you can cause, and it matters more for Transylvania, but really both teams, if you can create chaos, that's how you win these playoff matches.
Yeah, oftentimes, come playoff time, it is a whole different ballgame compared to the regular season. The defensive intensity just ramps up. Every possession means more. And like you mentioned, with rain yesterday, people are slipping, sliding all over the place. It adds an element of chaos.
And both goals were chaotic. It was a goalkeeper slip. It was a throw-in that got through everyone and hit the crossbar. You know, today we're unlikely to see that just because we're without the rain, but still, if you can create a lot of people in one area, some congestion, you can get that same effect.
So a bit of a fight for it. In the attacking third is Transylvania trying to get a shot on goal. There's only been 3 total in this one. As this one's knocked loose, it'll be a throw-in. Substituting recently for Transylvania coming into the game is Abby Rowe. Not Abby Road, but Abby Rowe, the senior from Lexington, Kentucky. 4-year player. As here's a shot on goal with the left foot right into the hands of Lily DeRay. Didn't have to move to her right, didn't have to move to her left. And that was Isabel White with a shot attempt for Transylvania. 14:40 left in the first half. It's still 0-0. A lot of defense on display as this ball's a fight for it right at that midfield line. The back line put to work for the Pioneers, trying to weave it around the pressure that Rose-Hulman has had all game thus far. It's Abby Manning on the far side, trying to get it closer to her offense. It's deflected. Abby Manning, nearly a handball. And they're going to blow a whistle. Might have actually been a handball. Some substitutions ready to come in for the Fighting Engineers.
And one very notable in Sydney Schuler.
Sydney Schuler, the freshman out of Bloomington, Illinois.
6 goals on the season, so trying to spark the offense if you're Rose-Hulman. Get something going in the final 13 minutes and 40 seconds of this first half.
Here's the free kick into the box, sent away by Abby Manning. Transylvania defense did a nice job getting that out immediately. As it's out of play, stay in Rose-Hulman's possession. So here we go, some substitutions like you mentioned. Sydney Schuler, number 9 right there on the right. The second leading scorer for this Rose-Hulman squad. And she provides a jolt offensively. The 6 goals she's had have came in 3 games. She scored 2 goals in every game she scored.
I'm not confident she gets 2 today.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be
especially
very
the way that Transylvania's played defensively. But
here's a fast break opportunity on the far side. Catching up is the Rose-Hulman defense. Let's see if they can send it in the box. It's offsides. Rose-Hulman catches a break. That was Isabel White sprinting down the far side. And it goes back to the Engineers' possession. Getting ready to check in. We have some more Transylvania players ready to come in. It's kind of the stage of the first half where you take some starters out, get some more fresh legs in, try to mix things up. And that's what we saw with Sydney Schuler. And we're about to see another sub for the Pioneers. So this one sent out of play. Can't see the number. It's 15 that checks in. That's Peyton Tan, sophomore out of Houston, Texas, is on this year's Transylvania squad. Checking out for Transylvania, it's number 30, McKenna Johnson, the midfielder. Ball possessed on the far side in Transylvania's possession. Under 12 to go in this first half. This ball sent left to right, and the whistle is blown. It's a foul. A foul on Rose-Hulman. That one on number 5, Camille Clark, the defenseman, a little too much contact. And it'll be a free kick. Not exactly in the best range, still pretty far away from that box.
But you know, they're going to send everyone to the box, and it can create almost a corner from a different angle.
Or some chaos.
Some chaos,
yep,
exactly.
There we go. Some chaos ready to be enforced on this free kick. Let's see it. It's 18. Jamie Cottenham into the box. It's wide left. Couldn't get a body on it, was Transylvania's offense.
Just didn't really give her guys in that box a shot. You know, too far left, as you mentioned. Trying to get it up where they have some momentum for a header or for just to find a leg down there. Got a shot off, not quite able to do it.
Free kick, Camille Clark takes it. A dribbler near the middle. The offense of Transylvania has possession. Knocked loose. Still a fight for it in the attacking third. Isabel White is dispossessed, and it's back towards midfield. Rose-Hulman's defense once again making it very tough on the opposing offense. The whistle is blown. It'll be a foul on the Pioneers. Rose-Hulman will have possession. Getting ready to be under 10 to go in the first half. I mean, like we talked about on the car ride up here, we talked about on the pregame. Very defensive-oriented thus far, Sam.
And it's a matter of time, maybe not in this first half, before we watch for one of the teams to force the offensive issue.
That was a shot wide left. Not quite the velocity, not quite the angle to be close to scoring, but nonetheless still a shot. That's the second shot of the ball game for Rose-Hulman. Kira Hicks deflects it. Boxing out. On the near side, working with it is Transylvania. They have a throw-in. Looking towards the box. Isabel White is dispossessed, but it might still be in their possession. It's kind of just a back-and-forth fight for the ball right now.
And what I was going to say is I'm waiting for a team to decide to really increase the intensity. And it's almost like, I'm not going to say they're not trying to score, but there's going to come a time where one team is either up or we're late in the second half where you'll see more of an increase in pace and an increase in players coming toward the box trying to score.
A flip will be switched eventually. Right now, both teams in this first half going with, I don't want to say a conservative route.
I think that's a fair word. I think it's
conservative. Yeah, conservative. They're playing conservative early on. Not a lot of shots on goal. Trying to play it safe, keep the focus on the defense rather than selling out offensively.
I think they're satisfied letting the clock tick.
Here's a corner. It's Transylvania, the first corner of the evening. Sending it in, and it's knocked away. A beat on it is Transylvania. A right foot sent in. It's knocked loose. It's sent away. Back into the box. The right foot couldn't connect with it. That was number 17. Lila Steen couldn't convert with the right foot on the crosser.
And that was one of the better opportunities today with Lila Steen. And then she's been a capable offensive piece for Transylvania. You know, 3 goals on the season. Heavy shot producer, 26 shots. So they try to get her opportunities. Had one there. Very difficult one at that.
Hanover and Mount St. Joseph 0-0. About 11 minutes to go in the first half over there. We'll keep a close eye on that one as the winner of this will either play the 1 seed Mount St. Joseph or Hanover.
And that's one to really monitor because Mount St. Joseph has looked nearly unstoppable.
They're undefeated in conference play.
And if Hanover hangs with them and defeats them, that would be very notable.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one for those of you viewing. Here's a ball sent to the box. Lily DeRay has clean hands on that. She picks it up and picks it up out of the sky. If she bobbled that could have easily been a Transylvania goal.
Well,
but
it's a good job to go get it. You have to be aggressive as a goalkeeper. You have to be willing to be brave, take risks. You have to come out of the box at times between the posts and go get it. She does there.
If DeRay stays closer to the net, that could have dropped and potentially went in. But nice goalkeeping from Lily DeRay. She's been so solid all season. Lily DeRay played in all 16 games. Only 20 goals allowed, 40 saves. And she's got 3 shutouts on the year. So very, very good season for DeRay. DeRay, the senior out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
And Charlie, I want to point out, as Kira Hicks comes out of this game with 6 minutes to go in the first half, and Alex Adams comes in, and I mentioned to you earlier.
Yep, you did.
Alex Adams is the player to watch for me in this game. You know, she hasn't scored this season, but was a goal scorer last year, has 3 assists, so she's been involved, and Rose-Hulman tries to get her opportunity. She's the second most shots on the team with 29 shots. So they really look for her. She hasn't come through yet, but in big games, sometimes the person you try to get opportunity for, someone that's obviously capable, is the one to be the difference maker.
That's well said. She's, like you mentioned, heavily involved offensively all season, still searching for that first goal, but she's got those 3 assists, second most shots on the team. We'll follow her and see how she fares. 5 minutes, 20 seconds, 0-0 in the first half. Rose-Hulman's offense loses possession. The ball back and forth in midfield.
Here we go, Red.
Taylor Beatty sends it up right to left and making a play on it. It'll be Emma Johns. It's out of play, and it looks like a goal kick, not a corner. It'll be a goal kick for Transylvania.
But regardless, we haven't seen much of that on Rose-Hulman's side, that push that I was talking about. That was more like it. And I'm not saying they need to do that very often or all the time, but it's something to watch where I'm sure that they love playing defensive. But at a certain time, you're going to have to score, unless you want to go to overtime and penalty kicks. That's going to happen in the second half more often. And will it catch Transylvania by surprise? Will their defense be ready for the attack? That we'll have to see.
I think both teams are going to start to continue to play faster and faster. I think it's important, Sam, to find a fast break, a transition look, a 3-on-1, a 2-on-1, a 1-on-1 opportunity where it's less defenders in the box. You want to find an opportunity where you can get a through ball and find your best forwards making a play on it.
And for Rose-Hulman, that typically comes through Marquardt or Alex Adams on the outside. Speed there.
Rose-Hulman loses possession. The offense still in the attacking third. They'll send it to the midfield line, does Transylvania. Now back up to Peyton Tan. Peyton Tan's pass deflected. Ball still on the far side. It's a fight for it. And knocking this one still on the far side. That was Anna Pieracelli. That's out of play. 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 0-0 in half number 1 of the HCAC semifinal. The winner of this advances to the championship between the winner of Mount St. Joseph and Hanover. So one of these 4 teams remaining in the HCAC will head to the NCAA tournament. The last time Rose-Hulman was there was 2022, and they are searching for their 4th appearance.
And they've won 2 of the last 5. One in 2022, and Hanover, the other 3. Hanover's won 3 of the past 4 years.
Under 3 to play. It's been a lot of attacking third possession for Transylvania, but this defensive Rose-Hulman not allowing a lot of shots on goal. Here's a shot in the box. Lily DeRay making a play on it. She gloves it. A nice shot, a nice kick into the box, and trying to make a play on that was Abby Rowe, the 5'7" forward. And she couldn't quite get to the ball. Now it's on the near side. Knocked out of play by Caitlin Fike. Whistle blown. They're going to pause play for just a small moment. Throwing this in, it's Allie Smith, sophomore defender. And Alex Adams knocks it out of bounds back in Transylvania's possession. The Transylvania Pioneers out of Lexington, Kentucky. I want to say it's about a 4.5 hour drive from here. And you know they don't want to drive home unhappy. They are coming here searching for a road win, trying to fight for an NCAA tournament bid. Here's a free kick on this very near side. It'll be Allie Smith, the sophomore from Louisville. Going to take her time, try to find her spots. 1.5 minutes remaining. She boots it with the left, right near the middle of the box. Making a play on it with the header was Abby Manning. Still in possession is Rose-Hulman's offense. And here's the potential shot opportunity. It's a box out, and it's deflected into the hands of Carrie Stevens. And that'll be a foul called, a goal kick. Offsides, excuse me. Thank you, Sam. Couldn't quite tell. Goal kick sent up just short of midfield. We have 45 seconds left. It's going to be a very aggressive 45 seconds, selling out on offense. They're going to try to send this up to the attacking third, but no one's there quite yet. And it's knocked loose by the defensive line once again. 30 to play now. The throw in on the far side. Knocked out of bounds once again, 20 seconds. And so as the time runs out of this first half, it's been a lot of defense. I know we talked a lot about the defense, but that's been the story of this first half. Just 5 total shots. And I mean, Rose-Hulman, they're coming off a game where they literally took 28 shots. Today they have 2, and I know it was against Manchester. But yeah, Rose-Hulman, 28 shots in that game. They have 2 at the end of this first half, and it's 0-0.
I think they're finding out there's a big difference between Transylvania and Manchester. But I think they knew this was what they were going to be in for. And if you look back to the 1-1 game against Transylvania in October, early October, you see that Transylvania just had 3 shots the whole game, and Rose-Hulman not many more than that. So this is what they're in for. They knew it would be a battle. I'm sure they expected this, and in the second half, they're ready to make an adjustment if needed. Not an adjustment defensively, but find a spot. They're going to look for a certain situation where the defense aligns and gives an opportunity for them to take advantage offensively, make a play downfield, a through ball, whatever it may be, and just get that one shot off. That's the big one. It's not about the number of shots at this point. 5 is not many, and you're going to throw that out the window. It's about who's going to get the most quality shot, and that will be the winner.
Yep, we're going to search for that one big play. It'll be in the second half. And it'll be after this. Transylvania, Rose-Hulman 0-0 after half number 1. You're listening to IndianaSRN.
Big play here for Mount Vernon. Hurdle looking right, now over the middle, fires, and it's in there for a touchdown. What a throw. Boy, what a stick, huh? Side out, back to the middle, and guess what? You want a point on the other side, you go to Taylor Lewis.
Here's Freeman. Has an opening shot. Score!
Stafford around a screen, skip pass, Mays with 3. Mays drive, floater up and in at the horn.
Hand off, and nice hole over the near side. 40, 35, 30, block to the outside. 20, 15, 10, 5, and touchdown. That's a big one right there, and finally, somebody gets on the board.
Rose Rocketry was founded to put Rose-Hulman on the map for places to go if you're interested in aerospace. Rocketry is a club and a team for anyone interested in any aspect of hobby rocketry, aerospace as a career, or space in general. Rose Rocketry has several different pillars that we try to pursue for all of our members, one of them being the NASA USLI competition. The NASA University Student Launch Initiative is for college students and universities to get experience with high-power rocketry, get experience in creating proposals for NASA. They put us through the same rigorous process as they would all of their contractors. We write proposals, critical design reviews, we write flight readiness reviews, and then we can go and present all of our learnings to the NASA board and they can ask us questions. And having that kind of hands-on experience where you can point to it and say, hey, I want to work at your company. This is what I've done to show that I'm valuable to your company. I've built rockets before. I've written proposals for NASA before. Another part of Rose Rocketry is the research aspect. Because Rose Rocketry's goal is to help students pursue aerospace as a career, we want to try to encourage people in whatever field, in whatever subset of rocketry they are interested in. For example, we have a bunch of students working on what's called Rose Propulsion Laboratory, and we are able to provide them funding, even mentorship. Another aspect would be electric ion propulsion. We have a couple students who are really interested in in-space propulsion specifically. And then there's also SmallSat. Rose SmallSat has the goal of launching a nanosatellite, which is around this big, into orbit within the next 3 to 5 years. And this is a really ambitious project, and it wouldn't be possible without the support of Rose Rocketry. My favorite thing about Rose Rocketry is how open we are. A lot of our people that are the most active are freshmen. And that's fantastic because now these people are learning hands-on engineering skills before they even learn what engineering is.
It's sort of given me a preview of all the engineering that is to come, and it's sort of put me on the fast track of learning mechanical engineering. Failure modes, effects, and analysis. That's not something you really learn as a freshman in your academics, but learning it in Rose Rocketry means I can apply those concepts to my current classes, which really helps me excel academically and prepares me for future classes. One of the goals I have after graduation is to be part of the aerospace industry. Rose Rocketry has helped me prepare for that goal in learning the design process of the aerospace industry and learning the documentation requirements. And it's also given me the opportunity to step into a lot of design areas and a lot of manufacturing areas that I haven't been exposed to before. And I think Rose Rocketry provides that really collaborative and friendly atmosphere. We really learn to work with each other, especially across multiple majors. What's special about Rose is the ability to really get involved. If you have that initiative, you can pursue it. And I think that's exemplified by how joining this team as a freshman, I was able to be elected the vice president. I was able to make a real difference on the team. That experience is something that you really may not find at other universities.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. We consider it a privilege to have you as one of our listeners and viewers. If you'd like to see more content just like tonight, just hit the donate button. Every dollar that you donate will go right back into more games right here on IndianaSRN, which means more games for you. It's IndianaSRN, where you always have a front row seat.
Hello and welcome back to the action. It's halftime here in Terre Haute, 0-0 after half number one of this semifinal matchup. Let's take you through some of the sponsors that made tonight possible. Wheeler Mission. For over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Burtner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. Morales Group, we're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Passion to Care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. And Sam, let's talk about some of the first half, what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't like. Obviously, it's 0-0. Offense has been at a premium. We've only seen 5 shots tonight. What do you make of that?
Well, I think both teams were satisfied with kind of letting this simmer, going into the second half 0-0, and then even in the second half, the first half of the second half, we may see this kind of be a little more dry, and then who's going to have the explosiveness over the final 20 minutes or so. However, I want to say Transylvania, they haven't completely had it their way. You know, they've controlled the pace. You know, they've possessed the ball for 65%. They've had total possession of 65%, which is huge. But I'm going to make the argument that Rose-Hulman is perfectly fine with that, although there's certain things that Rose-Hulman would want to do way better. But Transylvania, it's been an unorganized 65%.
Yep.
With that possession, what have they done with it? They've gotten 3 shots, but none of the shots have really been quality looks. They haven't had organized movement, any good, real seamless offensive attacking third stuff. And then on Rose-Hulman's side, I have to say, you know, just the 2 shots, where is Marquardt? Where is Kira Hicks? They have to do a better job of getting the ball to their playmakers and creating something. And I know they were fine being defensive in the first half. If something has to change, and I expect in the second half, Rose-Hulman to put an emphasis on getting the ball to the playmakers.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. And we haven't seen a corner kick either from Rose-Hulman. We saw one from Transylvania, didn't amount to anything, but you look at what Transylvania's done well. Obviously, they've had possession 65% of the time, but I think you're exactly right. What have they done with it? Well, there's been a lot of turnovers from both sides, and Rose-Hulman, it's pretty easy to tell. Their emphasis has been on the defense in that first half, and Transylvania hasn't been able to really get past that brick wall. And once again, important to note, Rose-Hulman on the season, they're more of a first-half team. 16 of their 26 goals were in the first period of all their games this year. 16 goals in the first period, 10 in the second period. So they score the bulk of their offense in the first half.
So usually what they want to do is score a quick goal and then just be extremely defensive, which they're very good at the rest of the match. They haven't been able to do that.
Transylvania has limited that.
And I want to point out, you mentioned we've only had one corner. But with the corner, Transylvania, if they end the match with more corners than their opponent, they are undefeated this year. They haven't lost. So Rose-Hulman has. And they haven't lost many, but for Transylvania, that's uber important. That's an opportunity thing for them. They need to do that. They need to score, but also, and I don't expect this to be high scoring. We know this is going to be low scoring.
Yeah.
One goal is probably going to be the difference in this.
And that's.
But Transylvania, when the opponent scores first, they have 3 wins. It's very uncommon. You almost see almost 1 or no wins when that happens. Rose-Hulman, they have yet to win a game when they've trailed this season.
Interesting. Yeah, when trailing at halftime for Rose-Hulman, 0-5. When leading, 7-0. When tied at halftime, they're 1-2. So, interesting numbers. You know, when they score first, they're 7-0, but they haven't. You know, it's interesting. The first half was the story of the game so far has been defense. And Transylvania, I think you got to be happy with the way they've performed. They have taken out Sydney Schuler out of the game plan, Kiera Hicks out of the game plan, and really their defense has done a good job. Now, in the second half, coming out of halftime, how can Transylvania respond and really break through on the road? What do they need to do to break through this defense? Now, you mentioned you got to find that right opportunity, but do you sell out on offense the whole 45 minutes, or how do you manufacture this goal?
I think it has to be cautious aggression. I want to see them be a little more aggressive than they were in the first half, but they kept possession, so that's a positive thing. They can take that away, but hey, we need to be better when we have possession. We need to be more organized, better in the passing lanes. But the other thing is with Transylvania, you cannot be all out, because if you're all out, you're going to give Rose-Hulman exactly what they want. One little screw up, one little thing, you leave yourself vulnerable in transition on the other side, and that's all it could take for Rose-Hulman to take advantage in a split second and make it count, because that's what they're good at. They're good at being defensive, and then in a split second, in a moment, when they see an opportunity, be aggressive, put a goal on the board. They need to be very careful of that.
I like what you said, cautious aggressiveness. I think that's a great point. And for Rose-Hulman, I also like what you said. Get the ball to your playmakers. Get it to Kiera Hicks. Get it to Sydney Schuler. I think that's a great point. And we'll see how both of these teams fare coming out of the break. I think it's important to mention one more time, the last 5 teams these two teams have played each other, neither team has scored more than 1 goal. And we talked about this a lot. 1 goal will most likely be the difference tonight. The next 45 minutes are going to be intense. It's going to be action-packed. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's Transylvania, it's Rose-Hulman, and it's next on IndianaSRN.
At first, me and my mom were struggling. I was trying to pay the bills and trying to take care of my mom at the same time. When I first heard that I can get paid for taking care of my mom, I was kind of skeptical because I had been doing it for so many years without pay. That's when I reached out to Passion to Care. I read all the reviews and I saw that they were #1 in the field. Passion to Care has really, really changed my life. Right now, I take care of my mom 24/7 thanks to Passion to Care.
A good engineer, a good mathematician, a good scientist can identify problems.
But in order to be a great scientist or engineer, you've got to have curiosity and you've got to have creativity. And that's what's going to set you apart.
You can't teach curiosity. You just need to encourage your student to be curious. Curious in anything that they do. Curious so that it brings out the innovations, the new ideas.
If there is one thing wrong in your aircraft, you're gonna fail. Finding the right answer and trying again, that's really what dragged me to aerospace. This is a 3D printed airplane which I made over my freshman year at Rose-Hulman that can be radio controlled and flown. I saw other people making amazing stuff on 3D printers, and I thought if I combine that art of 3D printing with engineering, I could make something as complex as an airplane. So I got the idea as a sophomore in high school, and I just tried. I did it. I failed a couple times, But it all changed when I came to Rose-Hulman. I got in touch with Dr. Riley, who is an aerospace and ME professor, who really asked me great questions about the concepts of my design. So pursuing such project as a freshman, it just lets me feel amazing that I have still 3 years to do something much more complex than this, and it will lead me much further.
Welcome back to the action here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Rose-Hulman and Transylvania. We are back for the second half. 0-0 for both of these squads. And Rose-Hulman here in the second half. Sam, they'll be moving left to right. Transylvania right to left. And we'll see if this aggressiveness ramps up, because a lot of defense like we talked about in the first half, but someone's got to put the ball in the net.
And it may take more than 45 minutes to do that.
Here's a through ball trying to get to Rose-Hulman's offense. Couldn't corral it. Carrie Stevens is there to pick up the ball. And Transylvania has possession. They move right to left. Stevens on that far side of the box. It unloads on the midfield line, and Rose-Hulman is there on the far side. Already pushing the pace are the Engineers. It's a clear into the box. It's wide left on the left side of the net.
And that's what I want to see more of from Marquardt. There was a game against Anderson a couple of weeks ago where she really showcased the speed, and she scored her only goal of the season, actually. She's probably the fastest player on the pitch. She's extremely speedy. She's a track background. And when she's able to showcase that, get down the sideline, get past the last line of defenders, and cross in, or even herself, sometimes she's a little too passive. You want to see her cut in, sometimes make a move. She has goal-scoring ability.
Yeah, and just 1 minute in the second half, Marquardt already was blazing down the left sideline, trying to send it into the box. So an aggressive play early from the Engineers' offense.
And look at the tempo, particularly with Rose-Hulman, because they've controlled so far in this first 2 minutes. Faster tempo, they're quick to get to the throw-in. They're moving a little faster, a little more urgency.
This one sent at the top, and it's off the crossbar. Headed in. It's a goal. Camille Clark heads it in after it hit the crossbar. Alex Adams initially sent it off the crossbar, and Camille Clark was there for a cleanup. 1-0 Engineers.
Oh, my. You know, Camille Clark gets the finish. But this is all on Alex Adams. That's way out. Way out. And I have to take some credit there. I mean, player to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
You know, off the crossbar, and it's over Carrie Stevens' head. It's not what she can do. It's just so well placed. You know, not quite a goal, but and it just sets up. That's the chaos.
Oh,
that's the chaos.
Yeah, that's the chaos. You are right, Sammy. It hit right off. I mean, the ball hit square off the crossbar. Literally, it went straight off the crossbar, right onto the head of Camille Clark.
And that's why you take shots. You know,
yeah.
you gotta put some up sometimes, because things like that will happen.
Yeah, I mean, you literally talked about Alex Adams making a difference in tonight's game, and there you go. She's the one that sent it off the crossbar into the box, and Rose-Hulman, Sam, up 1-0. And so, like we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, what Rose-Hulman likes to do, they like to score early. This isn't necessarily early, but when they do score early, they sell out defensively and make that their main focus the rest of the game.
And I think this can be seen as early. We're 2 minutes into the second half. They have the entire second half to go, and now they're going to try to settle down and lock it down, which we saw how good they are doing that.
It's interesting. We said this a couple times, but in the last 5 meetings, neither team has scored more than 1 goal. So if that trend continues, that'll be the Engineers' final goal of the half. But it's playoff soccer. I mean, anything can happen.
It completely changes the dynamic of the game for Transylvania because they were perfectly satisfied. We're 0-0. We're hanging right in this. We talked about it. 1 is the difference. Mm-hmm. That just happened. Now, how do you respond? You have 41 minutes. You have plenty of time to do it. But it's now they were aggressive in the first half. I think it has to be increased to another level. They have the urgency. You saw what happens when there's urgency with Rose-Hulman. Quick to get the ball in. It increases your energy levels. Yeah. Player, hey, we're going to score here. We're going to score. Transylvania has to embody that.
And so I think we could see a Rose-Hulman team from this point after the goal play a lot more loose, a lot more relaxed. Because in that first half, it seemed a little tense from Rose-Hulman. And after that goal, it's a breath of fresh air. Now, for Transylvania, this can make matters worse, or it can make them be at their best.
It puts pressure on them.
When pressure mounts, sometimes that's when you play at your best, is when it matters the most.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yes, pressure makes diamonds. We'll see how these next 40 minutes go. But how about that, man? Setting the tone. It was the Alex Adams.
And you could have called that just a throwaway shot. She just put it up there pretty nonchalantly at that.
Yeah. Just chipped it up in the air. It hit off the crossbar, and Camille Clark was there for the offensive rebound, if you will, as this ball sent out of play. And this goes back to the stats, Sam, like you mentioned. When Rose-Hulman scores first, they're undefeated, 7-0 on the season. So some work to do for Transylvania. Still got plenty of time.
Last goal by Rose-Hulman, scored by number 3, Lauren Marcourt. Assisted by number 14, Alex Adams.
Bouncing around the midfield line. Here on the near side, Transylvania is met by a defender, and that's knocked loose on the deflection with Sydney Schuler, the freshman. Hanover, Mount St. Joseph, the other semifinal game, still 0-0. That one coming out of halftime, so we'll get you an update on that when we hear something. Here's this.
And it's a similar situation to here. The longer, I know it's different now because Rose-Hulman scored, but the longer the game goes on with Hanover tied with Mount St. Joseph, the better and better they feel.
Here's a triple team. Some bodies hit the floor, and a whistle is blown. Too much contact. And we're going to see a free kick from Transylvania, not too far from the box. They'll be able to chip this well into the center.
And I think it's worth mentioning, when Mount St. Joseph beat Rose-Hulman, it came on a set piece. And it was a very similar distance to this one. It came on the ground. It kind of surprised Rose-Hulman. You don't usually see set pieces like this go on the ground right to a streaking attacker. Just chipped it up and in over Lily Dore.
Like they're going to be cutting to their left. Here's the kick. It's slicing inside. It's knocked loose near the middle. And it looks like a goal kick it will be. How about that kick from Abby Dean?
That was well done.
She drew it perfectly near the top left of the net. Had people crashing the box. A nice set piece, but good interior defense from Rose-Hulman. Sent up way in the air and out of play. The defense trying to get set. This one kicked up in the air once again near the midfield area. So that's now 4 shots for Rose-Hulman, 3 still for Transylvania at 3. 7 total. In the last 5 meetings between each other, Rose-Hulman, they've had their number. Rose-Hulman is 3-1-2 against the Pioneers in the last 6 meetings, rather. And that game earlier in the year came here at Rose-Hulman, that 1-1 draw. So here's a ball near the box, Transylvania in the attacking third. It's sent out of play. It'll stay with the Pioneers. Throw in on the far side. Boxing out is Eva Blanke. So despite, Sam, the 65% possession time compared to 35% of Rose-Hulman in the first half, Rose-Hulman walks away with the first goal. A nice deflection in the box, and that's a clear rolling out near this near side.
Well, Charlie, I'm going to point to something that will counter that.
Here we go, a lot of contact. Flying in was Abby Manning of Transylvania, and hitting the deck was Sydney Schuler, the freshman, and she is shaken up a little bit.
Abby Manning just likes to get cards against Rose-Hulman. You know, we said the red card last time they played.
Yeah.
Yellow here. I mean, there's a benefit to having a physical player like that on your team, without doubt.
There definitely is. Definitely, you want someone that isn't afraid to make contact, but glad to see Sydney Schuler back on her feet. That was not a light fall to the ground, so glad to see her back up. Here's the free kick. Taking it is Camille Clark, and it's deflected by Maddie Benjamin.
You can see she's doesn't feel good. That's sting right there.
When it's cold outside and you have to head the soccer ball, that hurts just
it's like a hit by pitch in October.
Yeah, oh, goodness. This one headed by Clark, the goal scorer. Transylvania, a bit of a fast break, cleaned up and dispossessed. Back into the possession of the Pioneers. It's Eva Blanke with it. Sends it into Lila Steen. Steen puts it in the box. It's dispossessed. Transylvania wants a handball. It's not called.
It sure did look like a hand. I was about to say that.
Some back and forth action here on the near side. Throwing it in are the Pioneers. On the box out, it's Maddie Benjamin. Maddie Benjamin, the goal leader for Transylvania, has not been involved so far tonight. The best forward on this group is Maddie Benjamin. She scored or assisted in 5 of the last 8 games for Transylvania. Looking to make a difference tonight when they need her the most.
But something that's interesting about Benjamin is that her shot volume isn't there. Just 16 shots on the season. She's very selective. 13 of the 16 have been shots on goal. So when she gets a shot, she's going to make it a quality one.
It's just, can Transylvania get her that look with the defense that's being played? 34 minutes remain. 1-0 Engineers. The ball at midfield. Great pressure from Rose-Hulman. Might have been too much contact. It just goes out of play. And Transylvania, Sam, I feel like they need to be ready because the defense isn't going to get any easier on Rose-Hulman's side. They're going to keep playing stricter and stricter as this game progresses. And does that mean Transylvania will need to increase their aggressiveness? You talked about the caution as you want to be aware.
Cautiously aggressive.
Right, cautiously aggressive.
And I think
is that out the window or no?
It's not out the window yet because we have 33 minutes remaining. And you can't afford to go down 2-0. If you go down 2-0, this is over. Realistically, it's over. So, of course, aggressive, but still cautious.
Swiping that one up, Lily DeRay.
Now, I'll preface that by saying every minute it goes down, the aggression should marginally increase or exponentially increase, I should say.
Throw in on the far side. It's knocked out of play once more. A lot of contact on that far side, and it's out of play. Looks like Transylvania has possession. Yes, it'll be a goal kick from the goalkeeper, Carrie Stevens. Carrie Stevens on the year, 84 saves and 17 goals allowed. She has an .832 save percentage, and she gloves that one right there. Not a save, but it's in her possession.
And from Transylvania's offensive standpoint, you ask, well, what has worked? And really nothing. You know, you can talk about the possession in the first half, but in terms of opportunity, the shots haven't been there. There's just 4. None of them really have been anything threatening. You got to change something. Make an adjustment.
Rose-Hulman's offense on the move. It's knocked out of bounds by Abby Manning of Transylvania. Rose-Hulman's offense back at it. And a miscue. That's a turnover. Pioneers scrambling to get this ball in play.
And it's so tough to dunk and dime against the Rose-Hulman defense, because after about 2 completed passes, the passing lanes will close. And they're going to be tough. They're going to dispossess you. So what does that make me think? Well, we got to have one really long through ball, just beat someone. Find the explosive play, if you will, chunk play.
Yeah,
that may work better than trying to maneuver your way systematically.
Yeah, because systematically trying to move the ball around, find open space, advance the ball, that has not worked. You need to find an opportune moment where maybe you have numbers in transition, maybe you have some space to send it in the box when Rose-Hulman doesn't have enough defenders down there. As here's a whistle, a lot of contacts, lots of it. Lila Steen grabbed a hold of Sydney Schuler.
And another yellow comes out.
A yellow card, huh? A yellow. And yeah, we've seen a lot of physicality recently.
It's when does the physicality become frustration on the part of Transylvania is going to be my question. And it can't get the best of them at this point.
The clock stopped at 30 minutes, 51 seconds. The free kick, Camille Clark. She sends it deep with the right foot. And getting ahead on that was Abby Dean, the midfielder. Not letting that progress into the box for Rose-Hulman. Good defense. The throw-in on the far side. Abby Dean takes it away and gives it into the Pioneers' possession. Abby Dean with it once again. And look at this pressure from Rose-Hulman.
Look, if you're going to press up there, it means we're not going to get the ball over to your defensive third.
So now, when Rose-Hulman pressures them in the attacking third,
it's just part of their defense. It's what works.
If Transylvania can find a way to get it past the pressure and up on a sideline or up a through ball, that's what they'll need. They're going to need to find a through ball, I think. Honestly, it's going to have to come through that, because the defense of Rose-Hulman is so stout on that back line. That back line moves up, and they will not let you have an inch of space.
And, you know, I'm going to go back to a game I saw, Rose-Hulman and Anderson, a couple weeks ago. And Rose-Hulman won that game. They won 2-1. But when Anderson scored, it came on a through ball. And who was the person that was targeted? It was a defender. It wasn't a forward. And it caught Rose-Hulman a bit by surprise, because it's someone you're not expecting to come forward. They run right through everyone, and it's over the top to a speedy defender, and defenders are going to be quick on that sideline. It's what worked before. If you're watching tape, you know Rose-Hulman's going to make adjustments. It's not going to work every time. You have to execute, obviously, really well. But hey, if it worked before, why not again?
A chance in the box, but I mean, look at this defense. It's on the far side, and here's maybe a chance at a shot. It's deflected and out of play. Transylvania will have a corner kick, though. And finally, a chance for a set piece offensively.
So this is what you ask for, and it's what you practice, and now it's time to execute. You're in the spots in practice. You're down 1-0, 28 minutes to go, semifinal game. What do you draw up?
Here's the kick, fading away towards the middle. It's on the ground, deflected! It's deflected by Allie Smith. Lily DeRay was not going to be able to get there, and Allie Smith, just a little poke on the left side of the net, and it saves a goal for Rose-Hulman.
Game saver.
Here's another shot sent into the middle, deflected once again. Transylvania still fighting. They got a sliver of space. Can they find it? Lily DeRay, it's sent on the ground, and she corrals it.
Biggest play of the game for Rose-Hulman. As we take another look, it's just going to drop through. There's some chaos. It just finds an opening. And look, DeRay is down. She's not going to get there. It's Allie Smith who's standing by that crossbar. And I'm sure it's not something at spur of the moment. For Rose-Hulman, they practice defensively how to guard against a corner.
And that
chaotic sequences will ensue. She's there. She's in the right spot. She makes the play.
Yep. So we saw the set piece, a chance where Transylvania could really display some offense. They got a great look on the goal. But very, very disciplined soccer. They knew the set defense they were going to be in. They knew the spot. Allie Smith knew exactly where she was going to be standing on the back pole. She didn't ditch the pole. She stayed right there, right where she was, and she just booted it straight out of the way. That was very disciplined soccer from Rose-Hulman, knowing their defense and sticking to it.
Without doubt.
So,
something I want to bring up, though, is as Transylvania's threatening again, is the height of Dore. And it's happened on a couple occasions where she's fairly short. Goals can be scored above her. If you can get it over her head, they can be scored there.
Abby Dean, the 6-foot midfielder, sent a strike with the right foot. It's wide left. A lot of velocity on that. She looked like it had a chance, honestly.
And it's all about the placement. You got to take a shot there.
And there's that replay. Yeah, just
you got to take
over.
A shot.
Wow. I mean, that's the type of shot you're close enough to the net where if you put a right shot on it, you can find a corner, an upper 90.
And you can't hate on it. You can't hate on it.
Yeah.
You need a big play if you're Transylvania. You got to take your shots when you get them.
So Transylvania's offense becoming more aggressive. They're finding the looks, finding more and more looks, I should say. Cautiously aggressive. So with 30 minutes remaining in the second half of Mount St. Joseph and Hanover, Mount St. Joseph a 1-0 lead, the 1 seed over Hanover as of now. This one out of play. Lily DeRay will bring this for a goal kick. Reynolds Farm Equipment. Reynolds Farm Equipment is a leading equipment dealer since 1955. Passion to care, delivering care with more than 24 years of experience. Boilermaker Local 374. Boilermakers Local 374 represents highly skilled, highly motivated workers in field construction and metal fabrication throughout the state of Indiana. It's Boilermaker Local 374, proud sponsor for IndianaSRN. And RHIT.TV. Here at Rose-Hulman. 25 minutes left in the second period. It's a fight for it in the box. Sending it back to Lila Steen. Steen is dispossessed by Sydney Schuler, and a whistle is blown. It might be another free kick.
How many handballs have we seen today?
We've seen quite a few. And so now it'll be Abby Dean once again, the midfielder. She took the last free kick. This one a little bit closer.
But I think this one there's a difference, and it's that you want to try to set someone up.
So the opportunities are coming for Transylvania. Here's a soft tap, a nice high riser. It's headed out of play. And it's a corner kick for the Pioneers.
So here you go. What you did last time almost worked. And again, it's the same thing we talked about on Rose-Hulman's side. Can you ensue chaos? You almost found it on the last one.
They really did.
You almost did. Put it in a spot where it's difficult to defend.
Here it is. It's a little short near the front post. Headed onto the far side. Maddie Benjamin with the left keeps it alive. She sends it back into the middle. It's deflected out of play. Maddie Benjamin had a chance on the back post, but Transylvania still in the attacking third. It's another shot into the box. Headed near Lily DeRay. She picks it up via a diving effort.
And that's tremendous to go get it. Sometimes you'll see goalkeepers be passive. It comes back to bite them. Not passive at all there.
Yeah, I think, Sam, Lily DeRay has done a really good job at being aggressive tonight, going up and getting balls, not playing timid at all. 23 to play in half number 2. A chance at the HCAC championship on the line. Some substitutions ready to check in, as we're going to see a Kira Hicks check in momentarily. The top goal scorer, standing at 6'3". She'll be here in a couple minutes. In the meantime, it's a throw-in for the Pioneers.
Trying to play closer.
Trying to close it out, really. I mean, at that frame, she can be physical, and she can really get in the way of Transylvania's forwards. Sam, here we go. Another corner. They're starting to pour in. The third corner we've seen in half number 2.
And, I think that Transylvania was a little more successful on that first one when they got it a little deeper in the box, the back end of the box.
Yeah, the last attempts, a little at the front end, didn't work out. Let's see if they can get it to that back post. It's carrying, it's near the middle, and a nice box out from Katie Choi, or Kiana Smith, rather. Kiana Smith, very impressive defense. Boxing out Maddie Benjamin and allowing a goal kick. So here's some substitutions. Kira Hicks subs in. The goal kick, line drive, and it's Maddie Benjamin who's there to dispossess Rose-Hulman. Bit of a fight near the near side. The defense trying to clear it.
Here we go, Red!
Maddie Benjamin almost took possession. Some bodies hit the floor. Stepping up the pressure is Transylvania. Maddie Benjamin sends it near the box, and Lily DeRay is there to put an end to that offensive possession.
I love what Transylvania is doing, and you have to do this. What else are you going to do? The effort there, forcing a deflection, you can almost create a chance for yourself defensively, and that might be the best chance they have. Force an error.
Yeah, I think we're going to see more of Transylvania when they're in their attacking third to put pressure on Rose-Hulman's defenders. Almost converted another shot attempt just now. And with 20 minutes to go, I think it's full aggressiveness. A couple of subs ready to head in for Transylvania, as this is sent out of play on the far side. Just over 20 minutes to play here on RHIT.TV and IndianaSRN. Oh, how about that? Swing and a miss. Transylvania's offense, and it's knocked loose, but Transylvania's midfield able to keep possession. But man, oh man, is that pressure tough, Sam.
It's been unpenetrable for nearly every opponent other than Mount St. Joseph on one set-piece occasion, which just speaks they've been dominant in conference. No one has figured them out.
It's just, I'm sounding like a broken record. This defense, you said it, they're impenetrable. It's so hard to get a possession going inside the box, as we see an opportunity on offense for Rose-Hulman, but knocked away. Nice play by Lila Steen.
It's hard to tell in the moment sometimes. But, yeah.
7 shots for Transylvania, 4 for Rose-Hulman. 4 of those were on goal. 2 of those were on goal for Rose-Hulman. 4 corner kicks for Transy, 0 for the Engineers. 19 to play. Maddie Benjamin.
Ooh.
Another body hit the floor, and that's a late whistle, but the right whistle. Hitting the floor was Isabella White, the forward Played 39 minutes in that first half, and she's seen the entirety of the second half. It'll be a free kick from the defensive third of Transylvania. Running clock. Jamie Cottenham unloads it. Kiana Smith heads it initially, and it's cleared out by the Fighting Engineers. Now sent back to Maddie Benjamin and Transy. So Sam, as we head to these last 18 minutes, you see a couple of subs come in, but
I think it's going to be a lot of looking at the clock for both sides. Rose-Hulman, they play very defensive. It's about how much time can we waste, how much time can we erase defensively until we're at quadruple zeros. And for Transylvania, it's looking at the clock in anxiousness. How much time do we have left? And I think every time they see a lower number, it's, well, we need to go. And that's the mentality. Because what do you have to lose? You go down 2-0 now, you're already down 1-0. Where are we going to score?
Exactly.
You need to get aggressive. Do everything in your power to tie this game.
Desperation mode ensuing. Not quite yet, but we're getting there for Transylvania. Yeah, I think each minute that goes off the clock, it adds that another level of intensity. Here's a shot into the box. Too strong. Lily DeRay is there. Really a nice ball, but just a little too much steam on it. Take you through some of the sponsors that make tonight's broadcast possible. Morales Group. We're in business to create a better future for you and your family. Burner Electric, your trusted electrician partner since 1986. Wheeler Mission, for over 125 years, Wheeler Mission has been a pillar in the Indianapolis community. Passion to Care, delivering care for more than 24 years of experience. Ball on the far side. It'll be the Engineers with it. Tipped loose near midfield and out of play. So Rose-Hulman, they've done a good job of keeping Maddie Benjamin out of the game. She had one shot, and it was a shot on goal, which came in the first half. But other than that, she's been silenced.
There's been no Maddie Benjamin. There's been really no Isabella White for the most part. There's been very little of Lila Steen.
And this one sent down the sideline, knocked out of play by Abby Manning.
And an underrated part of this is Rose-Hulman's offense, which really has been non-existent after their score because they decide they're going to play defensively. Their offense can be their defense. The more time they spend over here, the less they have to worry about back near in their defensive third.
That's a good point. Yeah, really, I feel like if you're Rose-Hulman, your main priority is obviously you would like to score, but it's really just holding possession, keeping it out of your defensive third. That's really your sole focus right now. Cleared up by the Engineers, and Abby Manning will watch this roll out of play. She's going to throw this in. Under 15 to play in the semifinal. Knocked loose on the far side. Might go right towards Caitlin Fike. Transylvania will have a throw in right at midfield. Fike trying to find another forward. She's got space. She tries to pass it up the sideline on the far side. Abby Rowe sends it near the box. Abby Rowe making a run for it on the far side. It's a shot into the box, and it's corralled and saved by Lily DeRay. How about that through ball into the box, though? A nice crosser.
It's about as good as they've had all game. They have to do more of it. Wasn't good enough. Dore was there. She's been aware. She's been active all game.
Man, as you see that replay, having a step was Isabella White, just too late. And Sam, I go back to that corner kick. where it was sent to the back line.
It's something that will really not show up in the scorebook, but Allie Smith saved the game today, if nothing changes.
I mean, Transylvania, they would have had, this would have been a 1-1 ball game. They had a shot right into the left side on the ground, and Allie Smith was camping out on that back post, poked it out, and that was the closest Transylvania has been to a goal tonight, was that second half corner kick. And you got to think there's going to be a couple more shots for Transylvania.
They'll do everything in their power to make that happen. And there's time. 12 minutes is time. Almost 13 minutes, really. It's enough to do something. But how much are you able to do? You didn't do much the first 72 minutes, 78 minutes.
It's tough.
But it's just that added level of, okay, well, we don't have time. We have to do something that almost makes you do more. It makes you feel more capable of doing something. The season is over in 12 minutes if you don't.
This back line, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defenders. Some of them midfielders, but really pretty much playing defense these last 15, 12 minutes or so. So you got about 7 full-time defenders to deal with if you're Transylvania's offense.
And it's why you kind of have to think about putting some shots up that are less quality but will force the action. And it's how Rose-Hulman scored.
Yeah. Great
Alex
point.
Adams just put one up. It was not handled particularly well by Carrie Stevens. It was just such a good shot. It hit the top of the crossbar, and the bounce was perfect for Marquardt to get there. Transylvania has to do something of their own nature.
Yeah, I like what you said, forced the action, because that is literally exactly what Rose-Hulman did. Might not have been the best shot, but it forced the action. It was off the crossbar. It was in the box. It forced some chaos, and all of a sudden it's 1-0. And I think we need to see more of that from Transylvania. Start taking any shot. As we see now, a corner kick. Here we go. It'll be the 5th corner of the game. They're going to not waste any time. It's a bit of a line drive, and Abby Manning has a chance. Diving on it was Lily DeRay. It was not Abby Manning. It was Abby Dean, number 24. She had her right foot right on it, but DeRay, the keeper, was there to dive on the ball.
And again, what more can you say? That's what Transylvania has to do. It's not the result they want, but it's the type of situation they need where the ball's just rattling around down there and something may fall, just not enough. Abby Dean, she scored the only goal in the first match. She was the scorer in the 1-1 draw.
Yep.
So trying to draw it up again.
Abby Dean, so close. It was deflected. It was a bit of a line drive of a corner. It was deflected by Ellie Held and then into the right foot of Abby Dean. But Lily DeRay, the keeper, immediately jumped on it and saved what could have been a goal. As that ball comes near us. Transylvania wasting no time. They're going to throw it in. Immediately dispossessed and knocked out of play. And a lot of arguing of whose it is. And a whistle's blown. It's Rose-Hulman's possession. 10 minutes to play. 1-0 Fighting Engineers. Kira Hicks heads this. Kira Hicks clears it up into Carrie Stevens. Now 10 minutes exactly. That's a high school passing period left.
And although Transylvania has increased their aggression the past 5-10 minutes, they haven't increased it to the level I want to see it at. Yeah. I think they really need to go. It needs to be just a complete urgency, running after every ball that's in the throw line, the touch line, and just getting after it.
Play like your life depends on it as a whistle. As we got a yellow card. Uh-oh. Yellow card.
On a handball. Another handball. I've never seen this many handballs, to be quite honest.
Haven't seen this many handballs in a long time in one match. 9:36 on the clock. Back for the free kick, it's Lila Steen. Chip shot with the right foot and headed by Jaden Gibson.
And this is more of the urgency. But it's not just the throw-in. It's now press. Everyone's got to press.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to completely sell out with aggressiveness, with intensity. You literally have to give 100% for these 9 minutes. As this throw-in near the box, a potential shot opportunity, and it's not going to be a corner quite yet. It was saved by Camille Clark, and it's a throw-in. The throw-in goes to Isabella White. It's sent in the box, headed away. Still in the attacking third. The left foot sent near the goal and wide left. It's a goal kick.
And we can talk all we want about intensity the last 8 minutes, 40 seconds, but at a certain point it becomes, you could have all the intensity you want, and it's still not going to be good enough to penetrate the Rose-Hulman defense. And that's what it's looked like so far. I still think there's a level up for Transylvania, that they can get a couple good looks. But right now, it's just that Rose-Hulman has outmatched them, outdueled them in every facet.
Yeah, Sam, I think you're right. The defense has just been on another level, honestly. For these last 8 minutes, though, anything can happen. And a shot potentially for Kira Hicks. And how about that from Carrie Stevens, making a run for it, saving a goal. She went outside the box and slid with her feet to save it.
And look at the energy. That can energize a team. When you're on the borderline of going down 2-0 and you don't, a play like that where you don't score can really give you some momentum. It's needed momentum for Transylvania.
Definitely a jolt of momentum for the Pioneers. Under 8 to play. Time is getting scarce. It's a good time to take you through some of our sponsors tonight. Reynolds Farm Equipment, Passion to Care, Boilermaker Local 374, Wheeler Mission, Burtner Electric, Morales Group, and the Drumstick Dash. So many wonderful sponsors that make tonight's broadcast possible.
I think Transylvania's got to move their feet and let it eat the last 7 minutes.
Move your feet if you want to eat. Here we go. Some miscommunication maybe on the far side. That's sent out of play. 6 minutes, 45 seconds. We're going to start to see some frantic play potentially from Transylvania soon. They need to build. They need to find at least 2 more shots if they want a chance to score. I want to see 2 more shots, 2 more opportunities.
But it only takes one really good one.
Yep.
And that's the thing.
12 minutes to go. MSJ 1, Hanover.
Mount St. Joseph up 1 on Hanover, 12 to play there. A free kick. This one booted near the box. Let's see who has the first touch. It's going to roll past the box out, and it's cleared up by Rose-Hulman. Out of play. It's a throw-in. Immediately thrown in into the feet of Abby Manning. Abby Manning is quickly met by Hicks. This one up in the air. Headed twice. Need.
It's so hard to tell what they're going to do.
And cleared. Defense on full display. Kira Hicks. Oh, and she hits the ground. She could have had a breakaway. And how about the diving play?
Really good effort by Abby Manning there.
Abby Manning, the slide tackle to take possession. And clearing that up the rest of the way is Rose-Hulman. It's a goal kick with 5 minutes left. Carrie Stevens going to boot this as far as she can. She sends the right foot. This pass on the ground. Caitlin Fike. Now up to Ellie Held. Ellie Held loses possession. And Rose-Hulman regains.
But I want to see more than just one player applying pressure. If you're Transylvania here, you gotta. It's almost like a double team. Force a turnover.
It seems it's been a lot of Rose-Hulman forcing turnovers rather than Transylvania forcing turnovers, and I think you're right. They need to have more pressure when they're on offense, trying to turn the ball over, and they're attacking third. Here's a dispossess, and it's now immediately back to Rose-Hulman and cleared up on the near side. Sent up the near side again. Still in play.
And look, that's just 8 a minute. So Rose-Hulman's doing everything they want to do right now.
Rose-Hulman literally just playing keep away for the last 4 minutes of this game. There's no intention of scoring a goal. It's solely keeping possession away from your defensive third. However, a free kick. Abby Dean sends it upfield. Having a nice clean touch on it was Isabella White. She's met by a couple defenders. And this one sent in the box. It's immediately headed out. One last opportunity, one last push for a potential goal, and how about that clear?
They're so good at it, man.
They're so stout defensively. I mean, it is incredible. It looks like it's impossible to get a shot on goal in this game when it's not a set piece. Under 3 now. And the goal that gave Rose-Hulman the lead, it was the Alex Adams from about 32 yards out, chip shot off the crossbar, and Camille Clark. And the header went right to her, too.
Yeah,
I mean, it was perfect. Perfectly placed right to her.
Sometimes it just bounces your way. And that's what happened there.
Sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. That corner kick with Allie Smith standing right in the way of a soon-to-be goal. That's just disciplined soccer. That's knowing where you're supposed to be.
And think of how uneventful the past 3 minutes are. We're down to 2 minutes to go. It was 5 minutes, and these have just evaporated like nothing because Rose-Hulman is so good at just wasting time, being good defensively, kicking it out of play on the touchline to just waste a few more seconds here and there. It happens. How many times has this gone out on the far sideline?
1:40 remains.
Probably 5 or more times in this past sequence.
Yeah,
you can hear Transylvania, their coach, yelling, overcompensate, keep the ball in bounds. You cannot afford to waste more time.
I think that level of pure intensity, adrenaline, and need for a shot on goal hasn't been there the last 20 minutes the way we've wanted to see Transylvania respond. Now, granted, obviously they're doing everything they can. They're trying, but
it's a tough ask. It is a tough ask against this defense.
You need to sell out completely and get a look offensively. Rose-Hulman has been there every step of the way, though. Under a minute, the winner advances to a championship date between either Mount St. Joseph and Hanover. Mount St. Joseph more likely. Kira Hicks, a ground ball. It's corralled by Stevens. She kicks this near midfield. This will be the last opportunity for Transylvania, if they can even muster it. As bodies hit the floor, the clock continues to roll. 30 seconds.
And you can bet Rose-Hulman's not going to rush up there to have this free kick.
The seconds are ticking away. Rose-Hulman. It's going to look like they're going to win. It looks like they're going to advance to the championship of the HCAC. 10 seconds to play. Can they get something off? No, they can't. It's headed in the air, and that does it. The clock sees 0-0. The Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers take down the Transylvania Pioneers 1-0 in the HCAC semifinal. Sam, we talked about it was going to be defensive-oriented. It was going to be a tough, gritty game. That's exactly what we saw.
It was, and you can't give enough credit to the Rose-Hulman defense. They were outstanding in this one. And something I want to look at is How often does a team win when they have less shots? 5 shots for Rose-Hulman, 7 for Transylvania. And you look, more shots than opponent, Rose-Hulman 8-2-1. This is their first win all season. First all season where they had less shots, and it speaks to just what they did. One key opportunity, it was started by Alex Adams, finished off there, off the crossbar, and it just was, let's play to our strengths. We're a defensive team. It was one moment. We said it was just going to be one moment that happened. It was right there, and everything else, it just keep away, and they did it perfectly.
We talked about the opportune moment where you're going to find a goal. It's going to be that one moment. Other than that, a lot of defense. And that is all she wrote. For everyone on the crew, as we go through the sponsors that made all possible: Reynolds Farm Equipment, Passion to Care, Boilermaker Local 374, Wheeler Mission, Burner Electric, Morales Group, Drumstick Dash, and yours truly, IndianaSRN Sports Page. It's been a lot of fun, Sam, calling this victory. The Rose-Hulman Fighting Engineers are moving on to the HCAC championship game against most likely Mount St. Joseph. The winner of that will head to the NCAA tournaments. For everyone involved with his broadcast crew, thank you, Sam Cinder. I have been Charlie Harris. So long from Terre Haute, Indiana. You're listening to RHIT.TV.